Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever Food Hall of Fame ceremony. I am your host, Out West, and today we will be looking back on all the highlights, on all the drama, all the storylines, all the big moments in order to recognize and induct all the foods into this tasty immortality. But first, let me explain the structure of this newly established Hall of Fame. Okay, so the way this works is that there are tiers to this. So let's start with tier 3, shall we? Tier 3 is for those players who were able to cross the line from good to great. Think Wayne Rooney or Dennis Rodman. Alright, and then there's tier 2. Tier 2 is for the true superstars of the game. Alright, think Neymar or David Robinson or Steve Young, those types of guys. And then there's tier 1. This tier is reserved for legendary players, players that didn't chase greatness. Greatness chased them. Think Ronaldo, Messi, Maldini, LeBron, Brady, Friesen, those guys, those players, those who rose over everybody else. Alright, and now that we have all of that out of the way, let's get to the show, shall we? Okay, and now to start off tier 3, we have our first inductee, and that is the humble pie. Now, pie is an interesting case because it is the only one here whose ranking can actually go up. You see, I personally haven't had much pie in my life. However, when I have, man, it always hits. It always hits. It's always good. All right. And it impressed me enough to where, it's gotta be here. It's gotta be here. And who knows, it can go higher up. It can maybe be a tier 2, maybe even a tier 1. But for now, it's gonna have to stay down here in tier 3. Still pretty good. And welcome to the Hall of Fame, the humble pie. And one last thing before I forget to mention, pie also has the advantage of being extremely versatile. I just wanted to point that out because it's a trend with all of these great guys. Versatility. And we're going to see that more on. Alright, and next up, we have the biscuit. Alright, and now what can I say about the biscuit that makes it, evident that it should be here? Because I know some of you guys might be thinking, biscuit? What the hell, even is this? But trust me, this is the W pick for a reason, all right? The biscuit is very slept on, all right? And there's so many different ways you can make biscuits. Again, versatility, all right? And, and it just makes you want to eat. It's an appetizer, and it will always be an appetizer. And it does its job so well. It makes your appetite go up, all right? If you've ever went out to a restaurant and eaten biscuits beforehand, then man, you look forward to your meal even more now. So that's why I think it deserves a spot in the tier 3 Hall of Fame. And for our next inductee, I have to choose the hot dog / the glizzy. Now, the hot dog, I feel, has to go on here just because it's a classic. I mean, you go to a festival, to a party, and, there's a lot of them there, I know personally, I've eaten a lot of hot dogs. I've sucked back a lot of glizzies. I put a lot of, glizzies down my throat, and so, yeah, and, there's a lot of toppings you can put on it, but the core aesthetic of just the bread and the wiener, just kind of, stays there. So I think, that the hot dog should, be on this Hall of Fame. Okay, and for our next inductee it is my pleasure to announce that cornbread will be joining us in the Hall of Fame. Now, cornbread is pretty good. I remember, when I first ate it, I was in elementary school, it was lunchtime and I was eating it and I was like, wow, this is really good. This is some of the best bread I've ever tasted. That was until I got to the actual corn that's inside the cornbread. I was like, get that away from me. Bah! But it's pretty good. So yeah, cornbread's here. And for our next inductee, it will be rice. Now, there's not much to say about rice other than it is the greatest. And even if you don't agree that it's the greatest, it's at least one of the greatest side dishes of all time. I mean, it's so good as a side dish. I mean, think about it. It's popular in Asian culture. And, I can't, speak for all of Latin America, but I know in Mexico, it's pretty, popular there too. So, yeah, rice definitely deserves its spot here. All right, and now as I stand here, I just want to give a huge congratulations to the guys that made it here onto this list, onto this tier. Can we get a round of applause, please? All right, thank you. And now it is time for tier 2. So let's move on, shall we? All right, and now to start off tier 2, we have an all-time classic, and that is the sandwich. All right, now you may think that I put the sandwich too low. You might think this is a tier 1, and, you can make a very good case for that. However, most of the time when I get a sandwich, it's the same thing. I need to branch out more, and then it'd probably be a tier 1, but for now it's a tier 2. But regardless, I mean, everybody loves a sandwich. I have never met a single person who has thought, man, you know what I really hate? Sandwiches. No way, man. Everybody loves a sandwich. It's a classic. You have a field trip, and, you got to bring a lunch. Well, guess what you bring? You bring a sandwich, or if you're hungry and, you don't know what to make, you don't know how to cook, but you do know how to make a delicious sandwich. The sandwich is old reliable, that's literally what it is. Old reliable. And man, I gotta tell you, I love this. I love this food. And I love sandwiches, But yeah, sandwich definitely deserves a spot here on tier 2, maybe even tier 1, further research needed. All right, next up, we got joining us is teriyaki chicken. All right, let me tell you something about teriyaki chicken. Let me tell you about something about teriyaki chicken. The first time I had it, okay, so I was at a mall, and right next to the teriyaki chicken place is Panda Express, right? So I'm like, man, I want some more chicken. But, for whatever reason, we went to the teriyaki place, right? And I was like, teriyaki chicken. That's just, poor man's orange chicken. But, was I wrong? I had no idea how good this was. You guys have no idea how good teriyaki chicken really is. Oh my God. It's so succulent and delicious. It's just like, it's just so good. I love teriyaki chicken, and it's perfect. Really is what it is, right? But let's not get too carried away. Just because it's perfect doesn't mean that, it's tier 1. It's definitely high up there. But, we gotta stay a little bit realistic, okay? But definitely a W food. If you haven't tried it, you have to try it right now. All right, coming in next is the waffle. Now, the waffle is a really good food. I mean, when you think of breakfast, when you think of the generational players, coming from breakfast, waffles definitely come to mind. And with good reason. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Those little square holes, oh my God, they're just perfect for holding your syrup. You never need to, think about how much syrup you're putting in. You just need to fill those up, and that's it. And you have the perfect amount of syrup, and it's really just that easy. And I mean, of course, it looks nice. The squares make it look nice. The squares compared to a circular shape, it's just like, oh my God, if I could make waffles right now, I would. But, I kind of am staying up to make this video. So, but definitely a really good food. All right, and now I would like to introduce our next inductee, and that is the pancake. Okay, let's be honest. We all saw this one coming. Pancake really is that guy. I mean, think about it. You wake up on a weekend, and what's better than the smell of pancakes in the morning? You get up, your mom or your dad has made them, and there's just a huge stack just waiting for you. It's just like, oh my God. And then you put the syrup on top, and then it drizzles down all of them. It's just perfect. It's perfect. And, you feel like a lumberjack eating them. You feel awesome eating them. If it makes you feel awesome while you eat it, that means it's an awesome food. Definite W. Definite Hall of Famer. And before we continue, I would like to give a brief thank you to the sponsors that made this ceremony possible. And that is me. Yes, you heard that right. I am today's sponsor. I am the one who is sponsoring this Hall of Fame ceremony. I know. But yeah, go watch my, other video. Ignore the MK one. Just watch the Sakura one, and, it's pretty lit. Yeah, anyways, here's a snippet. Here's a sneak peek. Check it out. All right, let's take a look at this. Oh, wow. Oh, no, this man is in the corner. Whatever shall he do? Oh, my God. Oh man, bro must think he's Air Jordan or something. I don't know. All right, let's see. Oh, wow. That was pretty good. Oh, what? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, man, on my toe, what's going to happen here? Oh, man. Oh, what's going to happen? Oh, it looks like if you want to find out what happens, you're going to have to, go watch the video. Yeah. All right, we're back to the ceremony. And for our next inductee, it is with pleasure that I welcome the hash brown. Now, the hash brown is up here due to its simplicity. I mean, really, it's just like shredded potato. But it's so good. It's just potato with salt and pepper, but it's so good. It's so simple, and it's just so easy to eat. All right, no forks needed, no fancy equipment needed. You just grab it and you bite it. And just, oh man. And yeah, you can even modify it too if you want to, like add an egg or, do whatever you want. So it has that versatility that we talk a lot about. So, yeah, just the hash brown is a definite W. Definitely deserves to be up here. All right, and that concludes tier 2. So many great players here. So great that their middle name should be respect because they get so much of it. But now we're on, to the big leagues. Tier 1. These are the legends. Okay, we are officially in big league territory. This is where the men start talking. And for our first inductee, it will be the burger. The burger. Yes, the burger. Do you want to know the nickname that they give the burger? They call it the king of versatility. And again, there's that word, versatility. It comes up so often. But that's because versatility is the most important thing a food can have. Sure, you can taste just good, but if you can switch things up all the time and still be able to taste great, that really will just solidify, you as a legend. And that's what the burger does. It's absolutely delicious. Versatility, obviously, like I already said. And it's just like, oh man, who doesn't get a smile on their face when they just bite into a burger, man? Definitely tier 1, a legend in the game, no doubt about it. All right, and next up we have French toast. Let me tell you something. French toast is the greatest, no doubt about it, no questions asked, breakfast food of all time. The only breakfast food to get into tier 1. You know how people say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day? Yeah, we all know that's bogus. Well, that was until French toast came around. He did that. When we look back at what French toast has done for the game, for breakfast, it's a no doubter, the most delicious, delectable breakfast you will ever have. This is, even if you hate sweet food, you love French toast. No questions asked, no doubt about it. French toast is one of the greatest foods of all time. All right, next up in our tier 1 slot, we have the taco. The taco, no doubt about, gets on this tier, gets inducted in the Hall of Fame. It is, after all, the 3rd greatest food of all time. I mean, come on, say it with me. Versatility. So many meats, so many toppings. Like, oh my God, so much stuff you can do with a taco. Soft shell, hard shell. It's like, oh my God. So much stuff you can do. It's delicious. Oh man, especially, especially when, you get those ones with the grease and it goes down your hand, on your arm. Oh, dude. Now look, as a smuggler, I'm sorry, I mean a Mexican American like myself, I know, tacos, and I know that they're the 3rd greatest food of all time. All right, next up, we have pizza. Pizza, without a shadow of a doubt, is the 2nd greatest food of all time. 2nd greatest. Versatility, again, so many toppings. And on top of what you can do with toppings, so many ways to cook it. You have, the original Italian. You have New York style, Chicago, Detroit, Boston. So many different ways to have it. Pepperoni is such a classic, man. Have you met anybody who doesn't like a slice of pepperoni, like at least from time to time? Pizza lovers, not pizza lovers, meat lovers, is absolutely delicious. All right, best pizza type of all time. definitely. All right, no questions asked. What pizza revolutionized the game. All right, it revolutionized the game. He's most people's top one for a reason. Not mine though. Number two, but he revolutionized the game when we look at what he did for the game. All right, you know, single-handedly put, Italy on the map, And sure, you could say like, oh, there's pasta and all this other stuff, But if you're a little kid, you don't care about pasta. Pizza is the introduction and it does a damn good job at it. All right. Oh, dude, let me tell you, man, I love pizza. I study his game all the time, and just all the little details that people just miss. It's crazy. Definitely a tier 1 Hall of Famer. All right. And the last inductee for the Food Hall of Fame, the very first ceremony for the Food Hall of Fame, is the chicken wing. You see, when we talk about taste, when we talk about deliciousness, savoriness, when we talk about all of this stuff, we really mean the chicken wing, the hot wing. You see, the hot wing, hands down, the greatest food of all time. Okay? And again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but versatility. I mean, think about it. So many sauces, so many rubs. You can have the drumstick or the flat. Sure, it tastes the same, but you eat them differently. You have options, right? You can have some floured, some not floured, wet, not wet. It's up to you and what you like. And I gotta tell you, every time I've been into a chicken wing, it's been perfect. Everything down to the last minute details. And I just, like, whenever I think about it, whenever I think of just eating some chicken wings, it just feels like I'm frolicking in a field of daisies. That's what this guy has done. That's what chicken wings have done for the game. All right, and these are this ceremony's tier 1 foods, and they're all perfect. They're all just perfect. And I just want to say thank you for joining me for the very first ever Food Hall of Fame ceremony. And if you like today's video, like, subscribe, the whole thing. However, what's really important is if you agreed with me. That's, we're right. You're right. Everybody knows I have the correct opinion. However, if you disagree with anything I said in the video, make your case in the comments below, and I'm just trying to hear it. And also, there were also tons of other foods I wanted to put in here, but we'll wait until the second ceremony. And, that's about it. YouTuber Hall of Fame coming soon, though. So, yeah, just watch out for that. All right, see you. Bye.